All right, Justin, you ready for tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Good deal. All right, folks, we back again here in Coleman, Alabama on beautiful Smith Lake, sitting in my kitchen like we are in the temporary Meeting 2 studio. But tonight we got another special guest on, professional pro angler of the, what is that called? I went blank.
Major League.
Major League Fishing. We got Crowe on here tonight, and he, no relation to me. It just so happens that we know of. Yeah, I don't know,
Y'all could be Branch, Ken.
Dude, you never know. Said, no, Rob, welcome in here. I know you had a long day, windy day on the water, so I'm sure you about give out.
Yeah, it was pretty windy out there today. The wind kind of stayed sustained on us, and the waves was they was rolling in, foot and a half, 2 foot, and out on that main lake channel, it was pretty rough, but they ended up catching a lot of fish, and I didn't think the Smith Lake was this good of a lake to fish, but it proved me wrong today. I can tell you that.
It carries a lot of spot. There's some big spots in here. Like I told you when we talked before, I don't do much bass fishing. I like trolling around for stripe, and I'm always trolling across some spot, and I've caught some big ones. Well, I guess they caught themselves when you're trolling, but yeah, this lake, it's got a lot and some good largemouth on it too here and
there. Good large heads, yeah.
So, yeah, Dustin.
Yeah, I go ahead.
No, I was going to say Dustin used to bass fish a lot.
But, just a lot of tournaments, Friday nighters.
But
oh yeah, Friday nighters. When you do those, you hit them dock lights.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. And back where I'm from, Lake Widow. I think me and you talked about it last night a little bit. They do a lot of night fishing tournaments out of there too, and that's how they catch them, is around in dock lights.
Oh yeah, I've got one of them green monsters down on my dock, so I see a lot of fish, and there's a lot of people fishing at night, and that's why I put it out there. I'm for sure not one of them people that think I own the water like some folks do. Don't want you around their dock or anything else. So, matter of fact,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I try to, even if I'm out there and they fishing around, I'll tell them where there's some treetops around there, or whatever, just trying to, so maybe they'll catch something, because Lord knows I live up here. I don't fish near as much as people that don't live on the lake, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just, all the people up here have been, real nice. The ones that I've met, talked to, and, we had a couple of homeowners come out today, and they was real nice, and they'll be like, "Hey, there's a stuff out here 50 yards, when the water was down." I was like, I can't get information like that and stuff. But
yeah,
like I said, today was real productive, and a lot of people wanted to touch on stuff like the live scope situations and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, before we get too deep, for a lot of people that don't know, you're fishing a tournament here on Smith Lake, and is it the Toyota Invitational, or who's sponsoring this?
It's the Phoenix Boats is one of the main sponsors on this with Toyota.
Okay.
Epic Baits. There's a few of them there. General Tires or something.
Okay.
They sponsor, and I think this one's going to pay around 100,000. For top prize.
That'd be a nice payday right there.
Yeah, I'd be smiling to the bank. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I would too. I might take me a vacation after winning that one.
Well, don't tempt me.
But
but this I found out that this like really really deep too in spots. And,
it's super deep.
And there's a lot of beautiful houses on this lake too, and but I can tell that that there's really shallow spots going into some of them codes going,
Yeah,
you got to
and
watch it.
for an angler like you that's not real familiar with the lake, yeah, of course, thank goodness it's full pool right now. If you was fishing it back just a couple of months ago, you'd have seen a lot of dry ground out there because they pulled this thing
Well,
down,
yeah,
close to 15 feet, at least 15 feet in the winter. So
yeah. I think I fished it a year or so ago, a couple of years ago, and it was really down. And when I found out that the water had moved up, the full pool, it told me that the fish was pulling closer to the bank.
yeah, you were telling me that
And
last night.
yeah, but and that's pretty much what I targeted today was mostly. I didn't go in the back for largemouth
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that the bigger spots was going to be transitioning at the mouth of the creeks, trying to work their way back, you know, closer to deeper water where they can run up, feed, and then run back down to deeper water, and that's how I got real productive today on the fish. And I caught, like I said, we caught 60 or 70, no doubt. And
That's
but my
amazing.
co-angler, he was real happy. Yeah, he was extremely happy today.
Now, do you
He was
pick your
happy.
co-angler? Or they just is it a draw? How does that work?
Well, it's a draw. I think they computer generate it. And normally if you're in an early flight, say like today I was in the second flight, I was boat 51. Then I know tomorrow I'll be in a later flight, which means I'll come in later in the evening.
Right.
And I'd rather it be that way because it gives me more time to fish and to try to figure out what they're doing and what to catch them on.
Well, it sounded like you had it pretty well figured out today. If y'all caught nearly 70.
Yeah, like I said, I stuck with one bait mostly all day, and well, I can tell you because this won't be uh,
Oh no, tournament will be
broadcast
long
real
gone probably before we get this thing
long
on the
gone.
air. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
I caught them on a 5 inch uh, shaky head green pumpkin magic,
okay.
and I was barely dipping the tails. Where a lot of people are dipping real high,
Mm-hmm.
I barely dipped the tail. And the water up here is extremely clear for y'all just having a cool pool.
Mm-hmm.
From what y'all had, there wasn't that much floating in the water. So I knew that the fish was going to be out. I caught them mainly in around 20 foot. From anywhere from 10 to 20 foot. They were staging,
Right. Right.
and the first thing that my co-angler asked me whenever he called me, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, is do you live? No, I saw him. I met him at the Coliseum, and he said, "Do you live scope?" I said, no, I'm not going to be live scoping this time. And that's a touchy subject. That's one we'll get into just a minute.
Yes.
But uh, I'm more of a traditional fisherman, uh, but I mean I'm not against it. But I've noticed that there's a lot of co-anglers that are backing off of fishing tournaments because of people are live scoping a lot. Because of they're sitting around just moving the boat around chasing fish, and the co-angler he can't get adjusted to what he's got to do to try to catch fish too.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I was going
And
to ask you why they would not like it, but I can see that because like you said, you're always trying to move and point the boat where the fish are, and
yeah,
that guy in the back of the
I mean
boat, he
you're
has a tough time.
I mean he does. I mean I'm not against live scoping, uh, but I try to make a fair advantage for my co-angler too, where he can he can have the opportunity to catch fish too.
Well, what do you
And
think? What do you think the percentage of you guys, the professional guys that live scope compared to how you do it? Like you said, you might turn it on, but you turned it off.
yeah, I do it. I turned it on 3 times today. The only time I turned it on was probably about 5 minutes each time just to see, if the fish were suspended, if they was on the bottom, if they was chasing bait, and I cut it right back off because that gave me the general idea of what I needed to do, and where a little bit of structure was, and I today coming in, I hit a bunch of docks. We got a lot of bites on docks too, and but I mainly fished, just right at the mouths of big creeks going in because I knew, like I said, the spots was going to move into that creek deeper and they'd come back up to feed and go back down. And, that's pretty much how I figured them out today.
Well, we hope you do good tomorrow. I hope you do good, make the cut, and you're there. What this thing runs all the way through Sunday, right?
Well, it runs all the way till Saturday.
Saturday.
Tomorrow will be tomorrow will be the cut line will be at 25. And like I said, it's a tight field right now. I'm only 7 pounds out of first place, so
Wow, that is very
I
tight.
mean it's really tight, and even at me being 7 pounds out, I'm sitting in 157th place. I
That's
mean that's how tight.
that's
It,
crazy.
well, I mean it just shows you, how good of a talent that a lot of these fishermen are.
Well, how many
And
boats are in this tournament?
there's 242 boats.
Mm-hmm.
There's 242 on the Crowe and 242 on the co-anglers, and
Okay.
judging a lot of good days today too.
Well, I don't
Um,
know. What's the weather? I guess the weather, they're calling it's going to be a little breezy tomorrow, too, I think. It's about the same temperature.
yeah, it was cool this morning going out, but the fish had pulled up real early this morning, and I kind of was having to jump around because the fish were scattered,
Right.
and uh, but when I went to the first spot, we caught a good bit right there. And
Okay.
I had three keepers right there, and all day long I was having to jump around here to there, and cull out. I culled out a bunch of times today because the limit here is 15 inches.
Right. Yep.
You get and you catch some. Like back home, our spot limit is 12, where y'all's is 15, and uh, but we do have a good population of spots back home, and I know how to catch them. I know how to catch them largemouth too. It's just finding them.
Right. Well,
Hmm.
let's before we get too deep into all this, let's back up a little bit and just get a little bit of background history on you about, you know, when you got started or, what you did or what you do and how you got into fishing and then I guess moved on
Well, I'm
up in the
not.
ranks of this thing, because this is big time what you're doing.
Yeah, I started fishing, more professional about what 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago. Um, my girlfriend's listening to this.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, as a boater, to only 2 years, you really only done well, she says as a boater, it's only 2 years. Last year was my first year being on the pro side, and uh, I made it. I finished 48th in the region in the regional, so that was a pretty good step up. And we just like, hey, let's bump it up a notch. You're getting better, and you're adapting. You know you're figuring out a lot of things about these different lakes. Because it's hard to break a lake down in 3 hours, because that's all the practice I had on this lake was 3 hours, and it didn't take me long to break it down, to what I needed to do.
Well, you told me too, kind of in our little talk yesterday, just kind of, I guess, letting you know what we do, that you not only fish, but you're a big deer hunter too.
Oh yeah, I love to deer hunt. I was telling you about one that I think some of the guys at Realtree that my brother hangs out with, they scored one that I killed last year, and being from where I'm from, you don't have that many big rack deer, and he scored I think 140, and he's a typical 8 point, and he's almost exactly perfect, the
Oh,
rack and everything.
no, that's a big deer for that part of the country.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't get them very big down there wide. There's a lot of hunting pressure down there on them, and there's a lot of hogs down there too.
Yeah,
And
I
I mean,
hunt
it's
in Dallas
common for
County, and
wild boars.
we're covered up with hogs down that way. They seem like on us, the hogs they'll come in strong and then they disappear for a little while and then they're back.
Hmm.
You'll think, well, they're gone, and then all of a sudden, a lot of them guys down there, if they'll run a feeder or something, they'll knock their feeder over. Or they run the deer off. I mean, the deer don't like being around them for
Yeah,
sure. That's why I shoot every one of them I see.
yeah.
And I'll tell
I've
you,
killed a
it's
few.
good. They're good eating. If you get a 100, 150 pound sow, and I killed one probably about 130 pounds this year, and she's in my freezer. My wife cooks it up pretty regular, and I really can't tell the difference. It's a little tougher.
Well, have you? I mean, have you ever cooked one whole, or
No,
how do y'all
no.
do y'all's?
My deer processor, where I carry my deer to, he actually he'll process a hog too, and
Hmm.
so when I carry it in, now the only thing you can't get out of them is bacon. They said there's just not enough fat on them. And, I guess in that belly area, I guess that's where the bacon comes from, to make
Hmm.
bacon. But if they're big enough,
Yeah.
you get pork chops, and I saved, got me the ribs and a couple of hams, and a pork butt. And I mean, you can get everything that you can buy in the store out of them. That's like I said, I
Well,
put it in the freezer right there with my deer, so we don't buy a whole lot of store bought meat no more.
yeah. I mean, see, like whenever we was growing up, uh, we had to hunt and fish really, to provide, starting to get up in age a little bit. Back then, that's what you ate was you fished, you hunted, and just that's the way we ate all our food and everything. Like you said, you didn't have to go to the store
No. Mm-mm.
to do any of that.
Now
You know,
I grew up on rabbit, squirrels, and we had chickens, of
hmm
course. I think everybody had chickens where I lived, and
yeah,
I didn't even know you bought it at the store. I thought you just went out there and got the one Daddy told you to get. That's how
yeah,
we did it up until I was a teenager anyway. And my dad was a coal miner. They didn't make a whole lot of money. He started making a little bit of money on up few, by the time I was 16, 17 years old. But when we was growing up, it was
hmm
tough.
yeah. My daddy, he worked. He was a painter, and he ended up working for the Corps engineers, and doing stuff in the parks and stuff like that. So uh, we had a lot of access to that kind of stuff. Being able to go out and enjoy the outdoors, and you go somewhere you see like bald eagles and stuff like that. Where now they're common,
Oh yeah, yep.
and you didn't see them that much. Even the ospreys. Uh, you see them everywhere now. I hadn't really. I don't think I've seen any on up here yet.
You will,
But
especially up there when you where y'all take out from at the boat launch, that big island, it's Goat
Mhm.
Island right there, and I think there's actually a nest on that island. But yeah, there's three or four of them around here. I'll see them fishing my slough every now and then. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's a few around.
I seen Goat Island on my maps today, and it looked like a good place to run in there and fish too.
Yeah, yeah. There's some.
But
There's on one side of it's fairly deep. On the other side, it's pretty shallow. Just depending on where you're at
hmm,
around on it. And it got its name. It was actually full of goats. There was wild goats run on it up until just a few years ago. And whoever owned that island was going to sell it, and they got rid of all the goats. I don't know if they killed them, trapped them, or did something, but now there's a new family actually owns that island. And I keep up with them. They got a Facebook page, something about Goat Island. And somebody had asked, were they going to put the goats back on it? And he said, of course they were. That wouldn't be Goat Island without goats. So maybe next year, by the time you come up, you'll see some goats running around on that thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the tour brings us back up here because, like I said, the local people here are really fantastic. They open their arms up, welcome you, to fish and just enjoy the nature y'all have around here. But the fishing's really good here, compared to a lot of lakes I've been.
Well, it's second or third cleanest lake in the United States. You're talking about being deep and clear. It's also super clean. It's really a clean lake. That's one thing my wife likes about it. She don't like swimming in, murky, greenish. She don't like brackish water, down toward Mobile and that kind of area. She won't get in it, but she don't have no problem jumping off the back of the boat in summertime up here.
Well, see, it's definitely not like Lake Eufaula.
No, you're right. I've never fished Lake Eufaula, but I've drove over it a bunch of times. I used to hunt right down in there around Barber Management Area. Matter of fact, the property I hunted, the state bought it, and it's part of the management area now. So,
yeah, I mean, for us, it's common for us to see gators. Fishing Eufaula. There's a little lake right across the Alabama line there. It's called Lake Hardin. The Chattahoochee feeds it, and it's got a lot of gators in it too. You just don't see them that much, but they're there, and they have like tag hunts every now and then to try to control the population down in that area because there's a lot of people use that lake for recreational stuff.
Yeah, I had some friends that come up here from Mobile. They live down in Mobile. And they come up, spent a weekend one year, and we was all down on the dock swimming or going to go swimming, and they all stopped at the edge, and they're looking around. I said, what's the matter? And he said, well, we're just checking to make sure there ain't no gators around. And I kind of laughed. I said, there ain't no alligators here. I mean, every now and then somebody will say they spot one. I've never seen one. If there is one, he's the only one that would be around. But,
he's like a great white shark around here.
Yeah. It'd be like a Loch Ness monster, or something. It's just everybody says they see him, but nobody's actually ever seen him. So yeah, I don't think there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Now I know there's a lake over in Blount County called Inland Lake. I don't know if it's a little small lake, but it's a real pretty clear lake. It does have 2 or 3 gators in it. I got a buddy, he fishes some of them little night tournaments, and they're all the time seeing them there. And that's basically up this way. I mean, it's pretty far north for an alligator.
Yeah. But see, the lake I live on is West Point. I think I told you that last night. And, it's controlled by the Corps engineers. And, our population of largemouth used to be really good there. And, when they was dumping a lot of sewage into it from Atlanta, they was putting grass and stuff grow in the lake. Well, when they ended up going through the lawsuit and they ended up getting all that stuff situated, they didn't put anything in the water anymore. So we lost all our vegetation, and our bass population has dwindled. But we do have like a lot of stripers in our lake and a lot of spots. And, we do have some largemouth, but it was common back in the day to catch, like 8 or 9, 10 pound largemouth. If tournaments down there, if you come in with 25 to 30 pound bag, you might well not even bring them in because, somebody had 35 pounds, but you don't see that anymore.
That's like Gunnersville, it's full of milfoil, which is just perfect for the bass. And back in I want to say it was the 90s, there's a big push, and I guess, I don't know if it was the people that had houses on the lake or what, but they wanted rid of that milfoil, and they basically killed it out. And their fishing went to nothing. I mean, there was,
Yeah.
there's no cover for them, and they got caught and died or whatever. There just wasn't nothing there for them. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I think the city and the surrounding areas realized, hey, our fishing has went to pot, and it's all back now. I mean, you got to be careful. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how often you fish Gunnersville, but it's full of milfoil, especially bad in the
No.
late summer and fall. When it starts
Yeah.
breaking loose.
What our first stop was Gunnersville, and there was a lot of good bags caught up there. Um, yeah, I had, mainly people did fish the grass and stuff like that, and um, you know, but like I said, there was a lot of big bags caught up there, and it surprised me. People coming in with 22, 23 pound, 25 pound bags, and but yeah, I heard a guy out there. I think his name's Ryan Salzman. He may fish on the elites, but I think he guides up there or something. But he was talking about that too. And Swindle and all in. Geraldine would tell you, that the fishing up there has gotten a lot better in the last few years
Oh,
because
yeah.
of that grass has come back.
Yes, it sure has. Matter of fact, I was telling you, I got a buddy, Mike Carter. He guides up there, and he posted a picture. I want to say it might have been yesterday. They caught an 11-pounder, which I thought was that for this early in the year. That's a big old fish, and he had it on the scales. I mean, he had the fish hanging from the scales where you could see it, how much it weighed. I don't know if he caught it or one of his clients caught it. I think one of his clients actually caught it. So there's some good fish up there.
Yeah, there is. The biggest one I've ever caught was it was a little bit over 12 pounds. Now, I caught it on our lake back home a few years ago. But I mean, when I caught it, we weighed it and I put it back in the water. And but you didn't see common fish like it even then. Back in the 90s, late 80s and 90s and stuff, you could go down a 50-yard stretch of a bank with, like a methylate treatworm or something like that, or a bubblegum treatworm, and catch 50 bass on that little stretch of a bank. But, like I said, when they took that chemical out of that water, it killed all the grass and there was no cover for them. And bass are a predatorial fish, so they have to have cover. And here y'all have I see a lot of trees laying down off the bank, and y'all got rock bluffs and there's plenty of cover for them here.
Well, and out in the big deep water, if you look, they're standing timber. They didn't even cut the timber out down in there. It's still forest, it's just standing. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, is this? I think this is like that. Is there a city underwater here, or?
I don't. Oh, well, yeah. There was I'm sure there's still some buildings. There was a lot of old home places and stuff. This was just hills and hollers back when they decided to dam it up. But a lot of old road beds and low water bridges across the creeks and that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, there's a bridge. I see it when the water's down. I'm assuming you come in, when y'all come in, y'all come down 222, that 4-way stop where you hang a left. If you went on past there, where I guess that's Ryan Creek. That's Ryan Creek right there. Yeah, that's what they call it. There's you can see the old bridge where it used to be anyway. The concrete formed where the beams went across that other little feeder creek that feeds into Ryan's Creek right there. Of course, the water's up now, so you can't see nothing. But I'm up here year round, so I get to see a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I kind of like it because I can see things that most people don't see. I get out in my boat in the wintertime. I can tool around here. I can find a lot of crappie beds where people put out crappie, treetops and stuff. They'll be sitting on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to keep that in mind where they're at. But like I told you, me and Dustin, we're turkey hunters, so springtime fishing's kind of not on our calendar most of the time.
Every now and then I'll get out on Lake Wedowee, some of them guys, and catch some crappie.
Well, Rock said he might whip up in there and take you for a 70-mile-an-hour ride across Lake Wedowee when. No, you're not into that?
The water don't come up till May 1st.
Didn't you say y'all be up there Saturday or?
Yeah, we're gonna leave tomorrow evening, and we're gonna try to hunt Saturday and then maybe Sunday morning. And I got to come home, and I think I told you we was gonna try to go Arkansas to look at that eclipse, but don't look like the weather's gonna do good. And we're gonna go to Indiana. I got a buddy that lives up there, and the weather's supposed to be better. And my wife's all into this thing, so I guess I'm going to Indiana.
Yeah, yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
There you go. Look, I got this is number 2. I got to keep her happy. That first one gets half of everything, and if the second one gets half, you down to a quarter. So but no, she's a good girl. Me and her have been. I dated her when she was in high school. I took her to her senior prom, matter of fact. But she's good. Yeah. She joined the military. She went in the Army right after high school. I ain't ashamed to tell nobody, but we was actually engaged. I'm a little bit older than her, and I think she just went along with it though. And she took off to boot camp and did her AIT stuff, and then she was stationed in Alaska, and I had these great dreams of Anthony was going to marry this old gal, and I get to live on base, and I could hunt and fish Alaska while she was working. Well, I never seen her again after AIT. She was gone. Me and her didn't speak again for 26 years, I think. And through the magic of social media, we both found out, I guess, we was both single, and it all worked out. It all worked out for the best, so.
Right. Well, I mean, you never know, like my girlfriend, I wasn't really looking for anybody, I was setting my ways and stuff like that. She come along, and, I didn't think that people like her still existed. And, she's good as gold. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this. She's the one who gets me up in the mornings and pushes me to do this stuff. Hey, don't give up on your dream. Like today, she's, I had a good, it was a good bag. And, she was happy for me. She's always been supportive of me. And, I don't know, you sound like your wife's supporting too. And
oh, yes.
Like that. And
we're both lucky. We both got good wives.
Yeah, if we weren't supportive, well, I'd be paying child support for sure.
And the way we hunt and take off and go, and you got to have a good partner or wife to support you in that. A lot of people get upset, especially the way me and him do. Now, yours traveling with you on trips and stuff, but I don't think ours has never went on any trips with us. We're just gone, and then we'll say we'll be back Wednesday, and no, we're not back Wednesday. It might be Saturday or that following Sunday, and it's just they just go along with us, and I've never had a cross word, and that's something with me and her too. We have never now. After I was divorced, I was done with getting married. I said I'll never get married again, never. Of course, you never say never.
Yep. Never say never.
We lived together for several years, and some medical stuff come up, and that's when you don't have no say so if you ain't the husband. So I bit the bullet, and we got married, and we have even the times we lived together, and now we're going on 10. We'll be married 10 years this year, and been
that's a
together
blessing.
13, and we have never. This is, and if lightning can strike me through this window now, we have never had a real argument about anything. We think the
Oh,
same.
well,
We she does a lot of
well,
stuff.
yeah,
She likes to do. I do what I do. We do stuff together, and we just get along, and we don't argue. She if she paints a wall, it's a color I like. I don't. I mean, it is. I mean, it's just
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
mean, that's the same way, mine is. If like I said, she's very supportive in everything that I do. Just like your wife, probably yours too, Dustin. That they've got your back, and like I said, if it wasn't for her doing what she does, it would be 10 times harder on me just to be able to do what I do. You know, with work and traveling here, fishing like these lakes and fishing on these tours and stuff like that. Everything.
Well,
And
now is
and I
that
want,
does a lot of you the other fishermen do they have their wives and girlfriends travel with them on a lot of these things with them? I mean, I
yeah,
notice I see Gerald Swindle post a lot of stuff, on Facebook and stuff. He's a pretty big social
yeah,
media
yeah,
guy, and his wife seems to be always with him. And
yeah. She is Lulu's a very good woman. Uh, them two are two peas in a pod.
yes, they are. You're
Her
100%.
her and Gerald, and and then he has that backing like I do with mine. With my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She's like that too. And if I'm having a bad fishing trip or tournament or something, she's like, you don't worry about it. You'll get them next time, something like that. And a lot of these guys, yeah, some of them, their wives do travel with them, but a lot of them have, like small children, and they have to stay at home and attend to the kids and stuff. You know, but you got to think, we're out here living the dream that a lot of people want to, but don't. And it's nobody's fault, but your own. Get up and go out and do this stuff. Enjoy. I do it because I love outdoors. I love to see everything around me. Breathe fresh air. Get out from in front of the TV, the computers, and stuff like that. You know,
Well, that's why
that's just what.
Dustin and I'd never traveled out of state till me and him got together. He just called me up. He had done some work for me, and
Mm-hmm.
he gave me a call. It was really a lifesaver. My hunting partner I'd had for years and years and years had died, and I was down in the dumps. I wasn't even going to hunt. I just couldn't bring myself to go hunt because we hunted together for like 25 years. And
Yeah.
he called me and he said, "Hey, you ever thought about trying to do the Grand Slam on turkeys? That's killing one of each species here in the United States." And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I've thought about it before, but I don't have a lot of friends, and my hunting partner was one of them. He was tight as a drum, buddy. He wasn't going to spend no money. So we just hunted Alabama. I'd hunted Mississippi one time, but I didn't know what I was doing. And he said, let's do it. I said, well, I'm sure not getting no younger because, like I told you, I'm 59 now. I said, if I'm going to get it
Mm-hmm.
done, we're going to have to do it. And we made us a trip up to Texas. And then the next year was off down in Florida. And then this past year, we made a long trip. We hunted Kansas and Nebraska and South Dakota.
And Florida.
And Florida, yeah. We went back to Florida again. I forgot about that. But then if I hadn't missed, I'd have had a single season Grand Slam, which is very hard to do. But
Yeah. It sounds like y'all.
so we're out. We're like you. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have seen a lot of this country. I'd never been to Kansas before, Nebraska or South Dakota, either one. And it's beautiful. And just like you're experiencing with these people at the lake, and there is a lot of good people. Everybody knows
There is.
there's not, nobody, I've never had somebody come out and complain to me about me fishing anywhere around anything they own. But here, in the same way, when we go out of state, we've never met anybody that they're interested in what you do. Cause like out in the Midwest, they don't really care about turkey hunting too much. Like in Nebraska and stuff, those local people just don't care about the turkeys or want to hunt them. And we walked in that cafe and that was Nebraska, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Nebraska.
It was just a cafe full. Was eating a breakfast or a late breakfast. We come in. It was like we walked into a bar. It kind of got quiet there. It was full. Everybody had to be mid-60s to 80 years old in there. And finally, one old fella, he kind of trucked over to the table, like, hey, what are y'all doing? And we got to talking, and wasn't long. There's a lot of people coming around. They was coming and pouring our coffee for us. And every day they'd check in. We ate there every day when we was in there, and they'd check in. Y'all kill one yet? Y'all kill one? And never got no, I've got a big flock of them out on my ranch. We didn't get that question, but it was just so nice. And we traveled, on our way to South Dakota, we stopped in a little town just full of nice people. We had dinner or a late lunch and or breakfast. We had breakfast there. We was trying to get South Dakota.
That was a neat little place.
And it's just, this country's full of good people. If you watch the news, you think it's just full of buttholes and, everybody hates each other, but that's not the way it is.
And I agree with you on that. The media, is they just put out there what they want you to hear, and instead of the truth about a lot of things. And together, if we all stand together against this corrupt stuff that goes on, we could do something about it. But a lot of people just turn a blind eye to everything. And here we go into politics.
Yeah. Well, now we don't need to get off too far in that. I think we all think alike. I just believe they want you to think everybody hates one another, and I've just not ran into that. Now, I'm not saying they don't have problems in these big cities and stuff, but where I've been, it's all been pretty much country. I mean, I'm not hunting turkeys in Chicago or downtown Birmingham for that matter. We're hunting them in.
That's true.
Nowhere little Kansas or Nebraska or Tennessee or Kentucky. I mean, just little towns, and it's full of good people.
I'm going to try Oklahoma this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're actually going to Oklahoma. I don't know if I told you that or not. We're headed to Oklahoma the first week of May. So that's our big trip.
But so obviously there's got to be some good turkeys out there.
I try to do reconnaissance, and I get on some of like an Oklahoma turkey hunters page and that kind of thing. I don't get in there because turkey hunters are notoriously tight-lipped and they lie. When I say lie, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell, and I'm not going to tell somebody where my turkeys are. And then there's a little animosity for an out-of-state person coming in and, shooting their turkeys, because turkey numbers are down a little bit. And I know they said in Oklahoma they're down, but I keep seeing pictures. Everybody says they're down, but I keep seeing pictures of more and more and more turkeys. So, I'm sure there's a problem, but I think it's taking care of itself. So,
well, say like whenever we was growing up, you didn't see coyotes and stuff around here. They was mainly out west in Texas and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of that, the population of turkeys and stuff like that is down because of coyotes. Even the deer population.
Well, they're now. You see a lot of videos of coyotes chasing down deer or walking around with a fawn in their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you like me, sometimes you come out a little bit after dark from hunting, you hear them things cut loose.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like they surrounded you, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? But once they figure out that you're a human or something like that, they'll shut up and move on.
Yeah, but they scary sounding though in the dark.
Yeah.
And I better not see one in the light. I will pop off a round or two at them. So,
Well, I'll agree with you on that too. I just hope we don't get too many animal activists listening to this,
Well, you know what? I've said it in I think our first podcast. I don't really care what them people think. They can, live their life, and I'm living my life, and we're going to talk about what we
what
think,
we
what we
want to talk about.
believe, and
Yeah,
I hope our listeners, and it's growing. We ain't got a ton of listeners out there, but I think we're all like-minded people, hunters and fishermen, and all. We all think alike, and we, just like we want to take care of our turkeys we hunt. You don't want to see a lake ruined or, wiped out of their
true.
fish or polluted up, even though that when they cleaned up down there might have hurt you more than it helped. But
Yeah.
I'm sure
Well,
the good probably outweighed the bad cleaning it up.
I mean, if you look at it, you can go to YouTube and stuff like that, and you can look at the videos of how people, like the cameras catching coyotes coming in, grabbing the little dogs and stuff, and running off, with them, and uh, you know, and then you got all these people that are anti-gun. If something wants to break loose over here in America, who are they going to run to? The neighbor that's got the gun,
You're right. I've always said it, and I say it in kind of making a joke, but about zombies. I said when that time comes, if we get in a bad war or something, and times get tough, the zombies are the people that live in these big cities. They ain't got no
Yeah.
guns. They ain't got no way to grow food. They don't know how to grow food or go out in the woods and get some
Nope.
food. They're going to be coming out of those cities and trying to take what we got. Not that I won't
Yeah.
help somebody if they need help, but nobody's going to take what I got.
Yeah. I mean, they have a hard time getting it. That'd be one thing.
Yeah,
But,
they'll get it. I guess when my last box of ammo's run out,
that sounds like you locked and loaded.
Well,
You
But
I got a brother, my middle brother Mark. When we went turkey hunted this past weekend, he was in the Army back in the 80s. The height of the Cold War. I think, yeah, it was 85, 86, 87 in there. When he was over in Germany, and he's still a little paranoid when they got in the Ukraine fired up over there. He called me and he said, "We need a plan." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "We need a plan." He said, "This thing could get bad." He said, "We need to have us a place we can meet up and, take care. Maybe we need to all meet up at our dad's house." And I said, "Dad lives 50
yeah,
miles from me." I said, "Look, I live out on a point on a lake." I said, "I'm surrounded on three sides by water, and there's only one road in here." I said, "I'm staying right where I'm at least till I run out of
yeah.
ammunition or food to eat." So I said, "You're welcome to come on up here." I said,
Have
"Well,
you ever heard of that book? Have you ever heard of that book? It's called The Lost Ways.
yeah.
yep,
I mean, a lot of people need to revert back to the days you know, where they didn't have the stuff that we have now, this modern technology, and they survived. These people survived, and they to them it was normal life, for what they had to eat. The stuff that we eat now is the stuff that they had then, like throw me some good cornbread and beans and stuff like that. A lot of people don't eat that no more because you got fast food.
yep. And
Mhm.
it's hurt so many people. Fast food has. I'm guilty. I have to, I'm on the road. I have to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, I
growing
got
up now, we
it's
didn't
pretty.
eat no fast food. I did, only time I got a hamburger from a fast food joint, it might have been a Burger King, and that was because I went to the doctor and missed school. My mother stopped and get us a hamburger on the way home. But that's the only time we had fast food.
Or on vacation.
We're on vacation,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
And that'd be one meal a day. We would eat sandwiches or some kind of breakfast at the room or whatever.
I know my dad, he carries us to Florida not every year. He loved to deep sea fish. And he put us up in a little old, it was called the Florida Girl Motel. It's down in Destin, ain't there no more. But it was just a little efficiency. And my mother cooked. My mother cooked most of the meals while we was there, breakfast and lunch. We may go out and eat one time, and all he did for a week was fish because his coal miner and they shut down, and that's when their vacation was. And he would tell us, y'all get in the swimming pool. That's all I've heard. Y'all want to swim in a pool? Go. Yeah. So we stayed out there all day. But people nowadays just they don't. None of them know that kind of life. I don't think, especially the younger people.
That's true because of. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say kind of like what was talking about. You know, you was talking about the live scoper, the younger fishermen. They're all into that kind of stuff. They don't know the old ways, like how you're fishing. If their live scope
Yeah,
broke, they'd be lost.
yeah, that's true. I mean, like I said, I'm not against it.
No, I'm not against it. I'm
Um,
just saying you need to be well rounded. You should.
exactly. You need to be in tune with the old ways, and then be in tune with the new ways. Because
Right. And
like
blend
you
them.
said,
I mean, we're doing
if
that right now. I mean, we're sitting here recording a podcast that goes out over the internet. I mean, think about that. I mean, we couldn't do it without all this technology. But,
that's true.
you know,
But but like back in the day, our generation, like me and you and Dustin. I don't know how old Dustin is, but
he's a little
we
younger
didn't
than
have
us, but
cell
he ain't much
phones.
younger.
He ain't much younger,
Now, how old are you?
but we did.
43.
How old did he say?
43.
43. Okay. But see, we didn't have cell phones back in the day.
Oh,
If
no.
you
Mm-mm.
if you met up with somebody, you'd say, "Hey, I'll meet you next weekend," and they was there that next weekend. You didn't have to call them. And Anthony, you probably remember too. Back when we had house phones stuff like that, you had a cord that was probably 30 foot
Oh,
long.
yeah. Yeah. We had old yellow phone hung in the kitchen. And
We
that
had
cord would
Yeah.
reach all the way to the
rotary
bedroom.
dials.
Yeah, our first phones was rotary dials. I remember when we got a push button, I thought we was in high cotton
It
then.
was high cotton. Yeah.
Then when you got the
And so
cordless, it
and
was
yeah, but that thing about it, even Anthony can probably tell you that back then, you only had three channels on the TV. You had rabbit ears, and you had aluminum foil on that rabbit ears to get
And I
what
was the remote
section you
control.
could.
I don't know about you, but I was the remote control. Daddy'd say, put that over on channel 6 or whatever. And I had to get up and go change the channel.
watch some country boy Eddie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a.
yeah, but like this. Let me back up a second. Y'all was talking about this eclipse and everything. There a lot of people are predicting this to be some kind of apocalyptic, you know, eclipse and stuff like it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's all over TikTok and, Instagram. Place. Yeah, this is the end. It's going to get bad or whatever.
well,
And I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe. I hope it
well, I
don't.
mean, yeah,
I ain't no hurry.
yeah. No, well, I agree with you on that. But nobody knows the time or the day of when he's coming back.
No. Nope.
But just live your life and live a good life. And these kids nowadays, all they want to do is they don't want to work.
Tell
Not
me
like
about
us.
it.
They get out there.
That's my biggest challenge. I can't hire people. You can't find nobody. And the people you get now, I own a heating and air company, and I think you told me you work. You're not just your fishing's not your full time life yet. Hopefully it will be. I'm
No.
sure that's your dream.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm at the point of where I could do it full time, but I really enjoy what I do.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Real job is work on airplane parts and aviation stuff. It's really to see how all that stuff works mechanically and all that pneumatically, and it's this is how can I say it? It's it's just challenging, you know.
well, I
But
bet you when you started there, you didn't know there's so many parts in an airplane to keep it up in the air.
absolutely, there's a lot of things I didn't understand. I know that everything that you do is regulated, and because you, you know, your people's lives are in your hands when you do that stuff. And you know, the company that I work for is very, you know, they're very strict on how we do things. It's all got to be by the book, and you know, everything's got to be tested before it goes out the doors. You know, quality has to check it over. Everything has to be just right. You know, even down to a dot on the paperwork, it has to be correct. And
Oh yeah,
you know,
you can't afford to mess up. I mean, there's a lot of lives
no,
depend on that.
that's true.
Well, it
That's
don't even
true.
it don't
I
have to be a
say,
lot. I mean, if it ain't but one pilot in that airplane, I mean, it's his life if something goes wrong.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and you know, everything is so fragile. Uh, you know, on a lot of things because you know, if you make a mistake, you know, it could cause a problem downstream and stuff like that. You know, and you just have to be careful what you do. You know. But you know, like just like you know, like y'all, you know, backing up, you know, on the turkey hunt and stuff. See, to me, I wouldn't be able to go out there and call turkeys or know what to do, you know, to kill turkeys. And you know, but like I think you told me that you know it's just more of the you talking to the turkey and the turkey talking back to you.
Yes.
You know,
But I mean, I think it goes
yeah,
both ways. I don't know what to put in front of that fish. You do, or you know, you got to put something out there that fish wants to eat. So I mean, it's kind of the
yeah,
same thing, just you know, in a different realm. So,
yeah. I mean, you're right. It's like seasonal stuff. I know where they're supposed to be this time of year. You know, when it gets hotter into summer, you know, I know where they should be too because uh, you know, it's just like turkey. You know, whenever season's over for y'all, you know, y'all just come out of the woods and you know, hey, it's next year. Uh, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, but you know, I don't lost my train of thought,
well,
Anthony.
I think you was just kind of leaning in towards it. You've got where we finish up hunting. And a lot of hunters do. Of course, me and Dustin's a little bit different. You know, I got a little bit of a farm. I say a farm. It's a piece of land, and we plant green fields, and we try to plant for turkeys and deer, and that kind of stuff even in the summer. But what you do, you got to know where they're at this time of the year when it's cool and this lake with the water just come up. But you also got to know where they're going to be when that water is 80 degrees and might have had a
Yeah,
little drought or something, you know, and the water's down or muddy or whatever. So it never stops for you.
yeah, that's true. I mean, like the water temperature here today, I was looking at it, and I was getting more bites in cooler water, 61 degrees. When I was getting up to around 63 to 64 degrees, you know, the bite wasn't as good as it was in cooler water. Uh, but you know, I'm more of an offshore fisherman, so you know, like when the water temperature gets up in the 80s and 90s, you know, a lot of people just quit fishing, and that's the time that I get out there. I'll be looking like an Indian. I'll be so dark, you know.
Well, I
But
may quit in the daytime. I start fishing dock lights when it's a little
yeah, but
cooler.
just a little bit.
Little cooler. Yeah.
But yeah, but the main thing is humidity. Humidity is horrible in the South,
Oh yeah.
and you know, it's just you know like the fish, the thermocline in the water is it could be 60 foot, or you know the fish are gonna be down 60 foot or something like that because the oxygen level for them. And I've noticed that this lake up here, I mean, a lot of people fish 70, 80 feet for these spots,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and you know that's just it's kind of amazing because whenever you pull them up from that deep of the water, you have to defizz them because the bladder blows up and it makes them float. You
Yep.
know, it puts them in shock and it kills them. And that's why whenever I figured I was coming to this lake, I made sure I had a DPS needle on the boat, but I hadn't had to get out there in that deeper water, to fish because the fish I'm catching is in the water, and they don't have to be DPS then.
Right. Well, I can't believe it, but we've already been on this thing over going on an hour now. And I know you got to get up early. So,
Yeah, I got
maybe
to
we'll
get
wrap
up.
this thing up. I didn't even get on half of what I want to talk to you about. We didn't even get back on your music career. We'll have to get you back on here another day
Yeah,
and kind of
we'll
go real
we
deep
will
on you.
definitely
So,
we will definitely do a part two, and we'll get a little bit more in depth
okay.
of
Yeah,
everything.
be
And
great.
I, I appreciate y'all having me on
No, and
and everything. And
before we get you go, now you're on social media, right? I know you got a regular Facebook page, but you just started a fishing page, did you not? If anybody wants to look
yeah, I
you up.
did. Yeah, it's Rock Crow Fishing.
Just follow.
It's on Facebook, and my girlfriend she handles that.
Okay. She does a good
So
job. She
sometimes a
takes a
lot of
lot of good
people
pictures.
she does she does a real good job with the pictures and stuff. She films a lot of the stuff when I'm coming in, going out. But I want to start doing a thing every month or something like that, like what baits you need to throw for the month and stuff like that. Just where I can be more active with the fan base
Oh yeah, yeah.
of everything.
Like I said,
You know, to,
I told you that mentioned you to so people know who you are. You might not believe that, but they do. You know. So
yeah,
yeah,
when you told me that, I was like, I didn't know that many people knew about me, but I guess because people don't interact with the people that follow you and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But they're scared. Hey, I can't message this him because they think I'm bothering. Of course I want people to message me, and if I can help them any way I can, I will. Especially young anglers. If I can help any of them in any way, I'll do it.
Well, that'll get you a long ways down the road. Just being a good person and helping other people.
And take the time with the
Yep.
kids.
Take the
Yeah.
time. That's right. You can
Uh,
run into people that
that,
and I'm guilty of it. There's all kinds of you guys up here right now, but I don't walk up and bother nobody. I think I could be bothering them, and maybe I wouldn't be. They might be happy to see you walk up and ask how they're doing or whatever. But so yeah, you probably got a lot of
well,
people that does that same thing. They just think they might be, getting in the way. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. To give you a funny note, we was fishing Gunnersville a month or so ago, and I run into y'all's local here, which is Lucas Black, and we was talking, and I was picking at him about one of those scenes he did in one of those movies, and he pulled his bag up beside me, and in one of those shows, he said, uh, "One of you turds is about to get smacked in the mouth." I don't know if y'all knew about that,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
but and I told him, I said, "One of your fish is about to get smacked in the mouth." He looked up at me and he was just grinning and laughing. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing fine."
His
And
brother
we
Lee.
actually,
His brother Lee. He's a pretty good fisherman himself. He does all my
yeah,
taxidermy work. Yep.
but he's just a down to earth guy.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of these people, if you walk up to them and talk to them, which I'm around them a lot, so we know each other, and I mean they put their pants on just like we
oh
do.
sure. I mean, and most of them grew up just like we did. Everybody. I mean, I
Hmm.
brought up Gerald Swindle on because he grew up. Me and him grew up. He's younger than me, but just 10 miles down the road from each other. We went to rival high schools, that kind of thing. Just
I played football against
Yeah.
Lucas Black.
so, I mean,
Oh,
you
did you?
know,
Yeah. He went to a little school called Speak, which is about 15 minutes from where I went to school.
so yeah, I mean, they're good people. Everybody, I mean, The world's full of them, of good people. So so is the
I
bass
mean,
fishing world.
well, I mean, that's like Kevin Van Dam. What was it, Redcrest? I might have been 6 weeks ago. All these people that you grew up watching fish, and they are world known. I mean, people, go up talk to them. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Even me, if just come up, that makes my
Well,
day. For somebody come up and talk to
I
me.
think when you build this social media up, I mean, look at Kevin Van Dam and look at Gerald Swindle. I mean, they're big on social media. I see
Yeah, they are.
TikTok videos and reels and all kinds of stuff they're putting out, and it ain't just about fishing. They're just funny, talking, carrying on. It's a
Yeah,
I think it makes them more real to people.
yeah.
They're
Well, I
not
mean, it
that
does.
like a movie star or something. They're just a good, they're just like we are.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's like I said. If anybody has a question, to ask me about something, I'll help them any way I can. If it's bass fishing or hunting or something like that. But I am an avid hunter, and I am. I was telling you something last night about a product. It was called Phase that I use for hunting,
yes,
and
hmm
it's it works. It really works. To keep if deer walk downwind in front of you, 9 times out of 10 they're not going to smell you. And I've killed a lot of deer that'll circle me downwind like that, and they'll come up and couldn't smell me. And you know, and we're not getting paid by that advertisement.
no, no, but we'll take a check if they want one, or if they'll give us one.
That's right.
Well, look again.
That's right.
I know we're getting late in here. What time? I guess it's probably already 8:30. Yeah, it's nearly 8:30. I know you getting ready. I know you give out. Like you said, you've been standing on that, running that trolling motor all day in
That,
that 1 and 2 foot swells and white capping out there all morning.
oh yeah, it was rough.
So
It was rough.
what we'll do, I guess we'll let you get on, relax a little bit, and I know you got to get in bed. You're getting up early, and well, just like me and him, we both got jobs to do too. So, but
Yeah. But like I told you, if y'all are ever down, my way, and we could, I would like to take, you and Dustin fishing, even on my home lake or we Dowey. Uh, I can I can really catch them on we Dowey, and we just go out there and just, you know, do the guy thing, go out there and fish and stuff like that.
yeah, shoot, yeah.
Well, I've got a nice camp we can stay at with chargers already set up for the boat and everything.
Okay, is that close to 48 Bridge or?
Yeah, yeah, we're just up from there between there and Roanoke, so we're on
Okay, yeah,
33. Yeah, but we've
33.
got
Okay.
properties over by 48 Bridge. We've got a 70 and a 240 over there.
Well, heck, that sounds like we got a plan
Yeah,
then.
all right.
We hit Lenny Bows up pretty often over there.
What is
I
Lenny Bo's
heard
place
that.
to eat?
That's a
Oh,
good
eating place.
restaurant.
I figured you was talking about an eating place.
Yeah,
I thought he was talking about the boondocks over there.
I've been
Well,
there
he
too.
knows about. They got some good food there. What I hear, I hadn't stopped and ate there yet, but you never know. But yeah, I look forward to spending some time with you guys and getting to get see y'all personal, in
Shoot.
person and
Well, hopefully
just
we
take y'all
will.
out there and catch some fish.
Shoot, yeah. And like I said, again, we appreciate you taking time because, like I said, I know it's stressful what you're doing out there trying to win these tournaments, catch these fish, and it sure ain't not much better. Makes it no easier when the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour all day long. So
Yeah, it was.
anyway, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that this time of year the wind is gonna be a factor in a lot of things. But I enjoy the people up here. Like I said, y'all real welcoming people, for us to come in and fish y'all's lake and stuff like that, and we're just grateful for that.
Well, all right, Rock. I think we'll wrap it up and let you get on to watching a little TV or kick back and relax and get ready for tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All
And I
right.
appreciate y'all having me on and stand by for part two. How about that?
That's right. And we'll be
good.
watching you, waiting to see you standing up there holding them bags and collecting that big check Saturday.
There you go. I hope I do it.
Well, good luck to you.
All right, brother. I appreciate y'all.
All right. We appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Well, what do you think? Oh, Rock, he's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope he wins this thing.
He fishes hard, and he's an old school fisherman too. I mean, he uses the technology, but he also knows how to do it if the technology was to go down.
Definitely. That is one thing that I was thinking the whole time when we were talking about that. If they take live scope out, how many of these young ones are going to be able to go?
You're exactly right. I mean, I don't know that they'll take it out for that very reason, because there's so many of the younger guys now that's the only way they know how to fish. Breaking out the old maps and topos and doing a little research is,
Or like my stepdad, when the water was down, he would take a 35 millimeter camera and go all over the lake and take photos. He's still got the photo albums at his house, all the structure. So when he was running Hartsville Bass Club and they would do a Smith Lake tournament,
he had it down. He could go back to the old photo album and know where to go.
35 millimeter. Yep.
Well, I know for everybody, we're out here in the heat of turkey season, and I'm not sure exactly what date this one will drop. I'm sure it'll still be turkey season, but when you got a chance to talk to a guy like Rock, a professional fisherman that's fishing the major league fishing tournaments, you got to stop and hear what they have to say, and I find it interesting, and that's what we're going to do. We're not all about turkey hunting, although that's all we're thinking about 99% of the time right now. But so anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did.
I did too, and I'm very thankful that he was willing to take time to come on this podcast.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, and we'll be back here in a week.
Until the next one. What did I say that night that got everybody all tore up? Peace out, meeting two nation, whatever it was. I caught a lot of grief about that, but I think that's going to be my new catchphrase. Peace out, meeting two nation. We'll talk to you next week.